What's up, everybody? Alex here, back again with my second video. I'm going to keep the momentum rolling here. Halloween is my favorite time of year. I love October, and all just culminates on the last day of October, Halloween. And this is by no means an original idea. It's something that a lot of people do every year, but I want to throw my hat in the ring for my favorite albums or songs that I listen to during October or the Halloween season, or things that just kind of get me in the mood to do so. So for all those who are a big fan of Halloween out there, I salute you. Here I am wearing my Come Visit Mothman shirt. Half moth, half man, the best cryptid out there. But yeah, hope you're all having a great October, and we're going to dive right into it. So we'll start a little bit obvious first. Again, this by no means is a original pick. I'll say that, unfortunately, in my record collection, I don't have any Slayer. I don't have any King Diamond or Merciful Fate. I don't have any Helloween. So a lot of those that would probably make this list are not going to, just because I simply don't own those records, even though I do love those bands and think that they would be perfect for it. But we'll kind of throw it back to where the whole thing sort of began with the debut, obviously, from Black Sabbath. First of all, I mean, that cover is that just screams Halloween. That still kind of freaks me out still to this day. I mean, look at that. But, interestingly enough, I think really in terms of Halloween and kind of that scary, doomy metal sound, it's really just on the title track. After that, it's a pretty just hard rock blues album. So, but that title track, what starts this record off with the bells, with the thunder, with the rain, it's just, it gets me. I've heard it a million times and it still gets me every time. Black Sabbath is always a good place to start. But as a little bit of I think an honorable mention to that too, we'll jump up about 13 years to their record Born Again with Ian Gillan. So this, I think, specifically Disturbing the Priest and Zero the Hero are just absolute monster bangers. Also, that album cover is friggin' ridiculous, but also very Halloween-y, very creepy. But Disturbing the Priest, Zero the Hero, those are must-hear Halloween bangers. We'll call them Halloween bangers. Born Again, Black Sabbath. So here's your connection then. If you know your Black Sabbath history, on the Born Again tour, Bev Bevan actually came in and supported on the tour on the drums. Bev Bevan is mostly known as the drummer for Electric Light Orchestra, or ELO. Now, you might be thinking, ELO? Really? Halloween banger? Well, to me, one of the best ways to kick off any album ever is Fire on High from this record. This is their fifth album, Face the Music. Fire on High, instrumental. Just starts with these bells, this broken arpeggio. This just, everything about it is great. It's got the choir going. And obviously, most importantly, that kind of freaks everybody out is the backwards tape vocal of actually Bev Bevan on there. His actual line that he says is, music is reversible, but time is not. Turn back, turn back, turn back. Just an amazing way to start any record. And this album still, and that song gives me chills every time I turn it on. To me, just a perfect composition. And we love it. This next one goes back, debut album from 1968. What is it? I am the God of Hellfire, and I bring you fire. Special shout out to Bob Johnson here. Bob, don't know if you're out there, don't know if you're watching. Appreciate you writing your name on this, because I think I got it at a discount. Crazy World of Arthur Brown, crazy world of that album artwork. This was originally, he wanted it to be a full sort of concept record about going through the hells of hell, the horrid hells of hell. At the time, this was released on Track Records, so Kit Lambert at the time kind of shot it down, but they came to a bit of a agreement, said, okay, side one can be your little concept with your preludes and all these different aspects, but that side two is going to be a little bit more straightforward. But the sort of narration into Fire is just awesome. I will say, though, side two does open, I think, with, of course, a cover of Scream and Jay Hawkins' version of I Put a Spell on You, which is always just a classic Halloween banger all the time. So I love this record. It is just that weird, odd, just psychedelic rock type stuff. That's just great. This band would not last for long. One of the members and co-writer of the song Fire would go on to start Atomic Rooster in the next couple of years. Vincent Crane. So there's your fun fact there. This is obviously something that a lot of people are always going to show because it's, became the theme, quote unquote. It became the theme, but long before it was the theme to The Exorcist, it was the debut record from Mike Oldfield. This is Tubular Bells. Fun fact on this, Tubular Bells was the first record released on Virgin Records. And obviously it was not, a song written for The Exorcist. Tubular Bells itself is a two-part, side one, all of side two, part of this Mike Oldfield record. And obviously they took sort of that main general theme that starts off and turned it into The Exorcist. Apparently the story there is that the original score that they wanted for The Exorcist, the director was just not in favor of, and so they shelved it at the last minute. But at the time, he was in, I think, Ahmet Ergen's from Atlantic Records, because they were the distributor in the US for Virgin at the time. And it was just one of their promos that he put on the turntable and heard those first notes. And he said, that's it. We got it. So kind of by happenstance. And then Tubular Bells as that theme from The Exorcist absolutely blew up after this. But overall, this record is a prog masterpiece for so many. And I'm a big fan of Mike Oldfield and his stuff after this, Hergus Ridge and Amadon too. I love both of those records. But this is where it all began for him. We'll jump up about 30 years or so and get some love to the death metal or progressive metal fans out there. I know some of you are watching, but to me, there's a band that just, in terms of stuff that I own, a band that really just encompasses Halloween and just scary and just everything in from their logo to their album covers to the music inside. I think they were deemed as the scariest band or some, thing like that. But that band is Opeth. Swedish, began as a, progressive death metal band. Really, over the last several years, they've actually removed the death metal aspect. They no longer have the growls, and now they're just kind of a really great hard rock, progressive rock band. But this is Still Life. First of all, that album cover is just amazing. And again, that logo is just amazing. Album art by Travis Smith, who's done a lot of stuff within the heavy metal artwork and illustration, graphic design world. But to me, this is a perfect death metal, progressive metal record. It starts with The More, which is just everything from how it starts to how it finishes is just absolutely perfect if you're into that sort of music. But again, that album artwork and just everything about it with the cross and oh my gosh, just love it. But you could really pick anything from Opeth. All of their album covers are just amazing. But the one that came right after it, also known as sort of their first masterpiece, was Blackwater Park. Again, everything even from the name of the record to the logo, and then the songs on here as well. I got a chance to see Opeth twice back in 2008, 2009. Wasn't a fan then because I just wasn't a fan of the music then, but they've since become one of my absolute favorite bands, especially in the fall, especially around the Halloween time. Leper Affinity, Drapery Falls, Blackwater Park, of course. The title track is just perfect. And again, just look at that awesome stuff. Great. Last but not least, has always been sort of my go-to tradition when it comes to Halloween. I listen to it every Halloween. One of my favorite records of all time, even though I don't know that it would stack up in a lot of people's picks. But this guy's he's become like the mascot, the spokesperson. He has become the person for Halloween. Of course, the founder, if you will, of shock rock. Of course, I'm talking about Alice Cooper, and I'm talking about Welcome to My Nightmare. This was his first solo record and the only record he did for Atlantic Records. A lot of people, myself included, prefer Alice Cooper band albums, but I think this does, in my opinion, stack up with the best of those. And even with those, each of those has just some great Halloween dark, of course, dark humorous, dark content type imagery with it and music with it. But to me, this whole concept, this whole story, Welcome to My Nightmare, focused on the character Steven. They went all out for this. I think the way this album opens perfectly with Welcome to My Nightmare into Devil's Food. Devil's Food kind of goes out, obviously, with the narration from Vincent Price. Vincent Price is, I mean, he is Halloween. He's the original horror movie guy. Vincent Price is just amazing. And then obviously goes into Black Widow with just that classic sort of that line about, what is it? We pledge allegiance to, we're all humanitarian stew. Wait, these words he speaks are true. Something about humanitarian stew. We don't pledge allegiance to the Black Widow. Anyway, this record's perfect. Of course, if you want to laugh in a really weird way, Cold Ethel, go ahead, look up those lyrics. That's an interesting one. And then obviously Steven on side B as well to near and round out the record. So I listen to this every Halloween. I love this record. It's my favorite Alice records. And again, I put it up there with his Alice Cooper Band stuff. So that's it. That's all I have for you. I hope you all are having a great fall and a great October, and that you're doing something fun for Halloween and listening to some great music, some great scary music, and everything that's with it. If I missed anything, would love to hear what you all listen to during these times, and anything that gets you in the holiday spirit for Halloween. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.